Welcome to the online vocabulary session with me. My name is Annie, and I'll be walking through the 214 vocabulary list with everyone. So before we get started, it's important that we mention why are memorizing those vocabularies very important and necessary for us. So for everyone that is preparing for SSAT or just with the purpose to enlarge your vocabulary accumulations, those lists as well as the words within the lists are very helpful for you. Okay, so that enlarge your vocabulary accumulation and on the same time make you a little bit more acknowledgeable, and that it widens your perspectives to a certain extent as well. So all in all speaking, whether or not you're preparing for SSAT, the 214 vocabulary list is one of the things that you should take a look at, and let's get started right into it. Right. So the first word on the list that we have here is nostalgic. So as many people might have recognized or known or heard about this word already, nostalgic simply means thinking about the past or recalling something that happens in the past, where also has that element of longingly remembering something that was once again in the past. So the connotation of this word is neutral, which means it's not necessarily leaning toward the side of positive or negative. Okay, however, a very important reminder for everyone is that nearly all words are possible to be changed in their connotations or meanings when they're put in different context. That depends on how you use it. So for this particular word, it is neutral, and the speech, otherwise known as the property for the word, is adjective. The synonyms that we prepare for everybody, number one, sentimental, the other one, wistful. So it's also necessary for us to distinguish the nuance that exists in between the synonyms. So for sentimental, is more emotionally attached. So you're thinking about a particular moment that happened already in the past years of your life, and you're getting emotionally attached with it. That is sentimental. Whereas wistful has more desires in it, in a sense that you're thinking about the past and you want it to happen again. So you want similar related experiences to happen, to occur once more in your life. So other than just emotional, you're also wanting or longing for that particular thing to happen once more in your life. That is wistful. All right, so the example sentence to give everybody a better idea of nostalgic is, many people might become increasingly more nostalgic as they age. So grow older and think more of the past, right, is a particular part of our human nature, right? So I hope that is clear with everyone. And let's now get down and move on to the next word. So the next word that we have here is disperse, where the connotation of the word is once again neutral. The speech property of it is a verb. And generally speaking, disperse refers to spending money or the ability to issue payments. Synonyms, we have two, expend and distribute. So expend, largely similar to disperse, refers to money. It could also be time, and it could also be energy. So you could say that I'm so exhausted, I'm so drained that I have no energy to expend. Whereas distribute is a little bit different from expend and disperse, because distribute refers to resources. Okay, so we could say that not all resources in the society is fairly distributed to everyone. So distribute has that particular element of dividing and then to issue it out. Okay, the example sentence, let's take a look. The bank agreed to issue further credits to the company because they can disperse. That once again goes back to the previous idea of spending and the ability to issue payments. All right, so let's move on to the next. And for now, we have insinuate. And this particular word has a connotation of either neutral or negative. Once again, in different contexts, we're expecting different usages of the same word. Speech and property is a verb, and insinuate, meaning infer, okay, imply, which is not something that is directly on the table. It's transparent for you to see through, or it's that obvious. It's the opposite of that. So the synonyms, we have two, hint or suggest. Both of those words are referring to a more reserved condition. So you're not directly giving it out, but you are referring to an idea in an underlying way. So the underlying tone of insinuate is one of the most important parts that we need to understand. The example sentence, some insinuate that he doesn't deserve the award due to the recent scandals. So this particular usage of insinuate right here refers to the negative connotation because there is a rather negative, right, indication of how he does not, right, get the word. He doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve the award. All right. So let's now move on to the next, and we have swell. So this is a rather down-to-earth, very casual, and people might have heard about it and used it in daily lives as well. Connotation of this is a neutral and speech property. It could be a verb, it could be a noun, it could also be an adjective. So despite the fact that it's a very short word, the usages of that is rather versatile and flexible. The synonyms, we have two, grand, deluxe. So those two words are referring to its adjective. So swell means enlarge, get bigger when it's a verb or when it's a noun. But when it becomes an adjective, it means majestic, it means grand, it means enlarged. The example sentence here, her arm was beginning to swell up where the bee has stung her. So that particular use of swell up, right, is a fixed grammatical expression, and that refers back to the verb / the noun meaning of swell. So let's now move on to the next one. And for the next one that we have right here is valiant. Okay, so valiant has a very strong and clear positive connotation. It's a very good word. And the speech property of that is an adjective. So overall speaking, valiant means very brave, okay? Full of courage, full of courage, full of bravery. Okay, so the synonyms for that, fearless or courageous. Example sentence, he mourned for those valiant soldiers who fought the war fearlessly. So once again, valiant, right, means full of bravery, full of courageous, and not fearful, not backing up, but always go at the target hard and without hesitation. Okay, the next one that we have here is espy. Connotation of this word is neutral. Speech property of this word, it's a verb, and the synonyms we have two, discern, detect. Overall speaking, for espy, it means the action to observe and to find differences. Okay, in this case, discern is largely corresponding to espy, that both refers to this particular action of being observant and try to catch the slightest difference that exists among things. However, detect is a little bit different from those two, whereas detect also includes the action of looking for differences, but is now more related to analysis. So you're not just looking for the differences, but you're also puzzling the pieces together and try to think about what do those differences mean. So for example, the noun detective that comes from detect, right, might in this case serve as a great example. So detect has more analysis related to it. So people are not just looking for the differences, but are also thinking about what do those differences mean. The example sentence, when we heard the assignment has failed, we gathered to spy our mistakes. So the assignment has failed. We're here to understand why. We're here to find out, to pick out our mistakes. Okay, so spy could be used in this way. All right, so let's move on to the next one on the list, and we have encircle. Okay, so as a prefix, and this is important for everyone to note down, en as a prefix, whenever it's attached at the beginning of any word, it has a meaning of in or into, which means to add more degree or extent to the word. So connotation of encircle is a neutral word. The speech / property, this is a verb. The synonyms that were prepared, number 1, enclose, number 2, encompass. To encircle means to draw a circle, to put a periphery, to put a boundary. So things are now being limited or bounded. So you're circling a particular part, you are creating limitations. right? Same as enclose or encompass, go around, close the circle, you're putting the boundary. You set up a periphery. So the example sentence here, thanks to the strategic commander, the enemies have been encircled. So you've spotted them, right, in the war, and that now they are encircled in a way that you created the boundary, right, to fight against the enemies. Next one that we have is tolerate. Okay, so for tolerate, the connotation is neutral. It could either be positive or negative according to different context, and the usages of this word particularly is also very, very flexible. Speech/property of tolerate becomes a verb, and the synonyms, we have two, either abide or condone. Okay, so tolerate means to allow, okay, to endure sometimes, and abide and condone, right, are two words that are also nuanced. So abide has more elements of compliance. So you're compliant with it. You are requested to follow. So sometimes people might have said or might have heard about expressions of every lawful citizens need to abide by the constitutional laws. So to abide by the laws, meaning you are following, you are obeying, and you're listening, right, to the laws. Whereas condone has that particular element where you can throw it up, or let's say you could take something in this way, condone, if you're not tolerating it, okay, you can go against it in this particular way, right? It's what condone, or how this word has become different with abide. So abide by is you're requested to follow, but condone, there's a particular or potential that you can go against it. For example, in schools, we might say, we do not condone academic offenses, or we do not condone any behaviors of plagiarism. So you will get punished. There's punishments related to condone. Okay, so those two are different in this way. And the example sentence for everyone to take a look at, he has tolerated the imperfections of his teammates and continue to finish the group work with quality. So this tolerated is to accept, to allow, all right? So let's take a look at word number 9 in the list, which is discord. So literally speaking, discord means noise. However, the uses of discord has been extended, and we'll see how. So first of all, the connotation of this word is neutral, or it could be negative when it's being referring to, or when it's intended to refer to disagreement or conflicts. The speech property of this word is a noun, and the synonyms, we have two. Number one, dissonance or disharmony. So as we said before, right, neutral would be noise, but negative, right, when the word is negative, it could mean conflicts, disagreements, and dissonance, disharmony, right, also has that particular meaning embodied. So once again, another little hint for everyone, whenever you see DIS at the beginning of any word, okay, this is a prefix and it has very specific meaning to itself, which is against, without, or no. Okay, so the example sentence we prepared, she has been frustrated about her family discord for a while, which in this case, that discord right there means conflicts, disagreements, things that are not going really well, or any particular conflicts that are within the family. Okay, so that being said, let's move on to the last word in the list, which is sequel. Okay, the connotation of this is neutral. The speech property of this word is a noun, and that overall speaking, sequel refers to follow up or subsequent things that are here to attach with something that has previously happened or being set up or established already. The synonyms, we have two. Number one, series. Number two, sequence. So something to clarify here, sequel refers to a single one, okay? So sequel is one, whereas series is a list of many. Sequence focus more on orders. So if things are laid out in a particular order, that becomes a sequence. Okay, so that is how it's different. Sequel is one, series is many, But sequence is also a list, but now it focuses more on orders. The example sentence to give everybody a better idea of this word, the movie has arrived at a huge success and its sequel is expected to be released in the summer next year. So that sequel right there, right, is one next movie, correct? So it's one movie that is about to come in the next year, which follows particularly, right, from or attached from the previous movie that has now arrived at a huge success. We're not talking about a number of movies, but just one that follows. All right. So we've categorized and went through those 10 words for everybody. So I hope after we take up those, it'll be clear for everyone to understand not only just the definition of the word, but also the definitions and sometimes how are the synonyms also become different. So all of those are in the same package, right? And I encourage everyone to not just always look for what the word in the list means, but together with its synonyms to enhance our understandings overall. So that'll be it for the first session. Hopefully to see everybody soon, and I'll see you in the next session. Bye, guys.